When Six Flags looks to build a new coaster, they usually look to a tight circle of manufacturers to build a select few models that they like to spread across the country. Six Flags does look to change these models every few years, so today we're taking a look at what coaster models Six Flags might be looking to build throughout the chain in the coming years, knowing what we know about them. I'm going to tell you what kinds of coasters Six Flags will be looking to buy once they get back to constant additions to their parks. I don't know when that will be, but I hope it'll be 2022 or 2023, but we'll have to wait and see. Before we get into that, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Six Flags content like this coming soon. Now with all that being said, let's hop into the video. I have devised the potential coaster models into two categories, those being yes and maybe. The ones in the yes category will be the coasters that I think almost for sure will be coming to the chain very soon. The ones in the maybe category are more coasters that I don't really know what's going to happen. I could see them coming to parks in the future in the chain, but we'll just have to wait and see. So the first coaster model that I came up with was the RMC Raptor model in the yes category, and this one should be pretty obvious at this point. We've already seen one RMC go to Six Flags over Texas with Wonder Woman's Golden Lasso of Truth, and we've already had Jersey Devil get announced for Six Flags Great Adventure coming this season. The reason I think Six Flags will try to spread this model across a chain is because they pretty much fit every single category that Six Flags is looking for. Raptors provide cheap thrills in a compact area of space. Most people seem to like them, and there's multiple models so they can put in their smaller parks or bigger parks depending on the situation. The only real drawback for this model is the capacity, but Six Flags doesn't care too much about that, so it works out. We've already heard strong rumors of Six Flags Magic Mountain getting a Raptor, so we already have that, and I expect to see a lot of Raptors coming to the mid-sized parks in the chain over the next 5 years or so. I'd expect to see some RMC Raptors coming throughout the chain over the next few years, so get prepared, get hyped, and hopefully a Raptor will be coming to a Six Flags park near you. The next model I think will be spread throughout the chain over the next few years is the Titan Track. I know, I said this model was going to fail, but it doesn't mean Six Flags won't try to use it. And this could be a cheap option, which we don't really know yet, but it could. We could see a lot of Titan Track redos replacing the RMC iBox redos in the Six Flags chain over the next few years. This would be great for a chain looking to save money over the next few years because they'll be able to fix up whatever portions of track they want and give the coaster a new name, new train, just call it a new coaster, and I guess that marketing will actually work for them. It is confirmed that Predator will get this track, so we already know there'll be some installations of this model, so I think there's going to be multiple installations of this model if that one is successful, but I'm pretty confident that it will be, at least for what they're going for. We know that it's not going to be a full redo based on the information that we've heard, so I don't really know where this could be going. There's a possibility we could see some ground up Titan Track coasters, which would be really cool, but that's just a long way out from the way I see it. The next coaster model I see being spread across a chain is the SNS Access Coaster. There's a number of reasons why I think Six Flags could buy the SNS Access Coaster, possibly even in bulk. One of them being that SNS is one of the manufacturers they like to work with. They've built quite a few coasters together over the last few years, so it would make a lot of sense here. Also, this is a brand new model, so this will be really easy for Six Flags to market and put all these goofy taglines on, so that's really good for them. These coasters will also be very compact and probably have a lower price tag from what I'm guessing, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think those traits are very desirable for Six Flags as a whole. They could really put this in any of their parks, so it would work really well for them. Another concept that I see as more of a no-brainer for Six Flags to spread across the chain is the Premier Rides launch coaster model. Six Flags has already shown some interest in this model with West Coast Racers, and I think that's a preview of more to come. These would fit in the Six Flags chain very well because they don't really have anybody else other than them and SNS to build launch coasters for them, but they can build more compact launch coasters, and they also provide a reasonable price tag for the chain. This model will be very easy to market and just be a hit with the guests because these kind of rides are ideal GP crowd pleasers. I think Six Flags will generally stick to putting these coasters in the major parks because they cost a little bit more what they'd be willing to put in some of the smaller parks, but I think they'll be decently spread around the chain so everyone can enjoy one of these. The next two concepts I have on this list are in the maybe category. I could see them getting spread across a chain, but we don't have a lot of information at this point and it's just too dicey to tell. The first concept I label as a maybe is an S&S Looper model. There's not a whole lot going for this model because the price tag is pretty freaking large for Six Flags. I know Steel Curtain was about $20 million from what I've heard. So I'm not really sure if Six Flags is going to be willing to pay all that money, but if they can get records, then they might be interested in trying to pay that money for a bigger park like Great Adventure, Magic Mountain, Great America, or any of the bigger parks in the chain. I would be curious to see if Six Flags would go for a smaller scale looper. Steel Curtain was a really large scale looper, so that probably would jack the price tag up. So I don't really know what Six Flags would do if they were to buy something like this for one of the parks, but I could see this being a possibility in the future. They could also start installing more air launch coasters. I think Max Force is going to be a rarity in the chain. That's just my opinion, but I'm not really convinced that we're going to see more air launches in the chain. The next coaster model I have labeled under the maybe category is the Mach Power Splash. We've actually seen one of these at least start to get installed at Six Flags over Texas, but that ride has been delayed to 2022, which is a little bit discouraging. But I don't really think it's going to affect the future investments of Six Flags. One of the reasons I don't think it's going to be very common is because this ride was actually not meant for Six Flags or Texas. It was actually meant for one of their canceled overseas projects. So that wasn't really the most encouraging thing to see for this model coming to the chain. But people are saying we could see this at Six Flags over Georgia, so I don't know. There's not a whole lot that suggests that Six Flags will want to spread these across the chain, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of these popping up over the next few years. However, it also wouldn't shock me if this was a one and done and we didn't see any more Mach Power Splash models come to the chain in the near future. This is a really interesting model, but I'm not very confident we're going to see it get spread across the Six Flags chain. One more bonus thing I want to talk about is actually Six Flags possibly working with Zamperla to build roller coasters in the future. It feels like Six Flags and Zamperla have worked on everything together over the last few years. Like if you go watch Six Flags announcements videos from 2019, which was intended for 2020, you'll see loads and loads of rides from Zamperla that you probably didn't even notice before. Six Flags has been loading up their parks with frisbees, endeavors, and air races over the last couple of years, and they're probably going to add even more of these rides across the chain. They've also bought a lot of other smaller rides from Zamperla that a lot of us have been missing as well, so that's another thing to keep in mind. They did get Sidewinder Safari from Zamperla, which is a wild mouse, so we could maybe be seeing some more family coasters come to Six Flags. A part of me feels like that was almost some kind of gift from Zamperla that Six Flags got for buying so many of their products. But who knows, maybe Six Flags bought it and they want to start putting these rides all across the chain. So maybe we could see the return of the Spinning Wild Mouse or even some Zamperla family coasters making their way across North America. But that's what I have for potential coaster models that Six Flags could be looking to purchase in bulk in the future. There's some models that I'm very confident in, I'm sure you guys are confident in, but there's some ones that are up in the air, so just something to keep an eye on over the next few years once Six Flags starts making announcements again. But what do you guys think? What are some models that I didn't mention here today that you think could be bought in bulk and spread across the Six Flags chain? Are there any dark horse models that I missed? Make sure to tell me all those thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them, so just put them down there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, as that is the best way to help out the channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Six Flags content coming soon. Hit that bell notification button so you can get notifications every time I upload a video. Thank you guys for all making it to this point in the video. I really appreciate it. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.